We don't have fun.
We have class.
Yeah. We just spent 2 weeks in Italy with our kids. It was fabulous.
That's right.
So finally got, they did all the.
So, once you
It said, okay, the driver's coming tomorrow. They're doing wine tours.
got a thing, that's been.
I'm not on my train.
You know,
Drove
catch it down.
It's just fun.
No worries. We're going to call to order the Planning and Architectural Review Board of Florida Beach on Tuesday, July 2nd. Lisa, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you haven't done so, could you please silence any cell phones? Roll call.
Paul Chestnut, absent. Brenda Witherspoon, absent. Vice Chairman Marshall Shoup.
Here.
Chairman Joseph Paluzzi.
Here.
Lisa Smith.
Here.
Joanne Soman.
Here.
Scott Chapius.
Here.
Okay. Approval of meeting minutes for May 2nd, 2024.
There, I saw one typo. On the last page, 404, Vice Chairman Marshall Shoup motioned to adjourn, not adjourned, to adjourn them.
I have a question for mixed-use building 907 North Ocean Shore. When we get to page 3 of 4, it says, second, Joanne, second the motion passed unanimously. But where does it say, didn't we deny it? Didn't they withdraw it? They didn't, they didn't have all this information.
I think that should
That was the
be up
second
here.
one, wasn't it?
I think Brenda made a motion to table it to final site plan.
Okay,
To
there
get
it
clear
is.
details
Yeah,
for these
okay.
items, rather than second for this
Okay,
section.
yeah, thank you.
So that's just a little out of order. Yeah.
Very good. There's nothing else?
I'll move to approve with my little change.
Second. All in favor? Aye. None opposed, meeting minutes approved. Okay, no old business, new business. Application TFS 24-0001, conceptual site plan. Peter? Oh, and we'd like to welcome Peter McClenny as our new planner. Yay!
Thank you. It's terrific to be here. I'm really excited.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you. So do I present first or with the applicants?
Even staff representations.
So, let's see. All right.
There you go.
So this is a conceptual plan for Cottage Point. Let me see, it's called Legacy Cottages. So the application that we have before you is for a conceptual site plan. You've seen this application before. A major site plan is submitted for consideration by this board during your regular meeting of May the 2nd. And based on comments that the Planning Advisory Board gave, the applicant chose to modify the elements of the site plan and instead submitted this conceptual site plan as before you for the board's consideration for a multi-family development that the applicant believes better aligns with the needs and established goals and design standards for the city of Flagler Beach. So after meeting with her, she had mentioned that the comments that this board had, and it inspired a whole new Legacy Point with design standards. So that's what you see here. So the proposed concept for development as presented, it was amended one more time, and you do have a new set of conceptual plans and it meets the current parking requirements. Initially, in your initial package, it was 1.5 parking per unit, and now it's actually 2 parking per unit. So the proposed concept for development as presented meets the City of Flagler Beach's comprehensive plan and associated future land use map and requirements for multifamily development as prescribed in the land development code. and moving forward after, this PR, this planning and architectural review board, the applicant will then submit a final site plan and meet with city staff to review the technical submittal requirements, which will include the calculations for stormwater management, for utilities, for lighting, sidewalks, landscaping, and demonstrating compliance with the road ingress and egress, right-of-way improvements, for Joyce, and including a review of the level of service on Leslie Street, to accommodate the proposed development, and also meet the concurrence requirements in accordance with Mountain Dew plan. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about the site plan.
Scott, do you have any questions or comments?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Brenda asked about mailboxes.
I guess, the developer or owner could come up and answer questions.
If you have questions or if they have a presentation,
You have a presentation? Do you have a presentation or anything? No? All right. Is this new rendering, it wasn't in our packet, so, is there anything besides that as a presentation, or that's?
So I sent over like a single unit. So just to recap, we were here previously for the apartment complex back then.
State your name
Oh, sorry.
and address, or,
I'm Katie Clark. I work for Car Legacy, which is the developer for this. Just to recap, we were here previously for a similar project on this property, which was a 39-unit apartment complex that was approved here as well, fully approved through the commission. So that project could actually go tomorrow if we wanted to, because it's fully approved. After thinking back, we really wanted to take a different approach to really support the vision and the residents on that street. We listened to their comments made by you guys in the commission, and we kind of came back to the drawing board to really understand what would best suit this piece of property. And that's where we came up with this. And so we're starting all back over again with a new conceptual. I did email additional pictures. This might help. I only printed one copy because I didn't know. So you guys can pass these around. This would help kind of guide you a little bit. So rather than the 39 apartment complexes, we're looking at 22, essentially quote unquote tiny homes. So think more about a pocket neighborhood, which is a tiny neighborhood, community based within 500 each. Long-term rentals, they are not short-term rentals, so this would be somewhere where somebody can establish their permanent residency. So still a multifamily mindset, but really more of a family-oriented, community-oriented vision.
So where are the mailboxes?
So the mailboxes, so we really haven't determined, but up towards the north side, we do have space up there that we can put the mailboxes. We also have space, as you can see, where the parking on the south side is. So those details, as far as kind of what Nikita said, mailboxes, lighting, and all that stuff is yet to be determined. We really just wanted to come forward with a conceptual to see, before we dive down any further, is this something that would be supported from you and the city? There's definitely a lot we feel, and did a report, there's definitely a lot of we feel benefits to moving forward with this and having a 39 three-story complex. And I think there's a benefits letter from the engineer that was shared with everybody's, but should have been included in the packet as well.
Harry Newkirk with Newkirk Engineering, 1230 Northwest Highway 1, Elmer Beach. So I was the engineer record for Legacy Point, the three-story project that's just as Katie said, it was totally approved here at the city, has St. John's permit, has every permit to build it. And so I can start building it tomorrow. And so when I looked at the project and what we have now, and I created the benefit letter. The benefits for this project is reduction in density, down 17 units, going from 12.35 units per acre to 6.96. Going from 3-story building to 1-story building. So from a neighborhood perspective, it'll blend. You won't be able to see the top of the roof to the same elevation of everybody's roof. So it kind of blends. You don't realize it's multi-family. Traffic daily trips reduced to 113. AM peak hour trips, 9. PM, 10. Water and sewer, solid waste reductions. The mail is going to be centralized. It's going to be a mail kiosk. So that mail kiosk will be located on the development in a convenient location so everyone can get to it easily and not be an inconvenience for the mail delivery and the residents. Other benefits were the project that was approved didn't pave Joy Street. This project will pave Joy Street, and that's a big deal. So Joy Street will be paved. This project, everyone will have private yards. So come out of your unit, you can have your dog in your little yard. So that's kind of a nice feature, and kind of each unit's private. No one on top of you. So it's a really nice development. It lends itself for all ages to renting here, which I think is really good, clever. Each. Another benefit, which not on the benefit letter, came down to how the 3-story project obtained approval for recreation. We used the lake, and there's concerns of that with kayaks and safety, but it did eventually get approved. This development, the stormwater retention is in the picture shows it here, that big green space area is the dry retention pond, versus the other development had it all underground retention. So since that is it used to be a parking lot where the retention pond is, but now the retention pond and the sidewalk can go across, look like a little ditch, and the other side of that area will be all a park. So that's a nice feature, a nice park area for picnic tables, passive active recreation. And then we got some locations for, I call it like cornhole areas, little miniature cutting behind the buildings, conversation areas with seats and benches. The overall concept much better, and it is really it's downzoning what they do on the property. So the overall impacts of the city, substantial benefits to that, and I think it just blends with the neighborhood, not having any 3-story buildings. That, some residents wouldn't like, and you're up the 3rd story, you can see down on houses, and you're not going to have that on this, with this new development. If you have any questions, I can answer.
Yeah, I'm looking at page 5 here. The required number of handicap spaces is only 1, and then you're providing 2 out of 29 units. There's only 2 handicap spots. I don't know what the rule is on it,
So the rule for Florida is 1 space per 25. So 50 or less, 50 to 26 in 2 spaces.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have right now.
Thank you.
I think it's pretty, I think better than the last one.
I don't have anything, I like the statute.
Yes, I had a couple of things. If somebody is handicapped and they live in a unit, would they be able to determine that the parking space in front of their unit or their dwelling be like designated for them and not somebody could just go in there and park? What I'm looking at is on page 6 at the bottom, and our planner mentioned it, about the 1.5 parking spots, and now it's 2. And there's, on your plans, it shows, you have room for 120 I'm sorry, 41?
The new site plan map, which I sent her, the treasure map is 44, which is exactly what.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things we talked about is designating a parking space per unit and then having
Got it,
the extra one as.
Overflow.
Yes, sir.
got it, okay. Yeah, I really like this for a lot of reasons. Three-story buildings are tough to get people out of it, they have to for one reason or another, and this really looks nice. I definitely pat you on the back, and if it looks like this, I think you won't have any trouble renting those. Or can you buy a unit? Or is it just, so it's all long-term rental? Okay. The other thing I've got to bring up, relating to egress and exit, and remember we were talking about fire hydrants
I think I am.
being added so that nothing's blocked. And I'm assuming that's gonna stay the new idea of having where it's placed and so on. Correct. And I know these are pictorial renderings,
Can go out that way.
but there's also codes for the arc for a vehicle, and of course these pictures would not allow you to get a 57-foot long truck through these entrances and so on, especially with the little bump outs that you got, so I know you'll work that out.
During technical review, yes.
Yeah, we'll have a auto turn exhibit with a fire truck going through there. This layout will be different with respect to fire, because it's on 3 stories, so we don't need fire sprinkler. But what you'll find on this development, we'll have more fire hydrants. We've got to space them so we meet the 250 feet of plate in between all backs and every possibility of fighting a fire in any building on the site. So probably another 2 fire hydrants.
And I'm not sure how this is gonna come out. Sometimes I don't say the right words at the right time, but I know that we've experienced some situations with Palm Coast with putting their apartments right next to Publix. And we've experienced some different types of situations based on some of the clientele. At one point, when that was in the development stage, we were told that people would have to be making $40,000 or $50,000 before they could afford to have a place to live in there, which doesn't seem like maybe that happens all the time. And I would like to make sure, hope that the people that live here are going to be an asset to the city and not users of our services. Did I say that in sort of a, you understand?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. That's the intent.
Okay, and with being a 2-bedroom, that means conceivably you could have 4 people living in each unit. Right, or no?
I mean, it's.
Mom and dad and a couple of kids? Mom and dad and a couple of kids, or would it be 4 adults?
Well, I mean, to not pinpoint, I think it's for all ages, but
Okay,
when we started looking at this, one of the things that I can't remember who I spoke to in the city, but there's not a lot of places for a workforce.
absolutely, absolutely.
Teachers, emergency management, there's a lot of young professionals coming in, you have a lot of traveling nurses at Advent that are here for 2 years. Oh, sorry.
Service people also.
Yes, absolutely. So long-term rentals are limited here,
Mhm.
and the ones that are decent are very pricey, and so we really want to cater to the workforce if we can do that, absolutely.
When you say long-term, are you talking somebody would lease for a year, or they would lease for 6 months and a day, or?
Details haven't been determined, but typically long-term is a year plus, just similar you would see in a lot of apartment complexes, yeah.
Okay,
So no VRBO, no short-term, no vacation rentals, it'd be long-term.
okay. Looks good. That's it, thank you.
Thank you, Marshall. I think it's a very nice project. And I like the fact that it's considered, well, 3-story to 1-story and people cottages. I was curious as to what it might look like in elevation. Obviously, the official submittal you'll have to have. I can see the rendering, but the streetscape and some of these renderings show what it would look like. The landscaping is extensive. Area, I'm sure you did it, but minimum area of 15%, total site area for open space, I believe. It appears to be that, but would the retention be included in that?
So, we've done all the calculations.
Push button.
Okay. So we did all the calculations, and building's 12.5% of the site, green space is 65.3%, so impervious is 34.7%. Another thing is required recreational 4,400 square feet, and we have 9164. Well, 9735 square feet recreation. Common open space required 5,500 square feet, we have 15,313. So we not just right on the requirements, we're doubling them. So, and that lends itself to how much open space is on the site. And why it increased a lot is we don't have a big parking lot with a big dry retention pond. It's going to be, the slopes are pretty good, so it'll mostly all the time be dry. You could actually probably, walk some, pets through there and whatnot most of the time. So it won't be a waterlogged. And the fountain will clean up the lake and need some aeration in there, and that'll be a nice long-term feature that'll help make the water more blue. Right now it's kind of stagnant.
Will there be a safety fence along the perimeter of the pond?
So we have, there's an area where we have a retaining wall, we have to have it there. And then I imagine the rest of it would be, TJ, you plan on doing a fence? Yeah, I think about a 42-inch open rail fence so you can enjoy the beauty of the lake.
Okay.
And prevent, if there's alligators or whatnot in there coming up on behind some of the property. So. Yeah, there. My wife thought that was gonna happen at her house. It hasn't yet.
And you're going to be paving Leslie Street?
Joy Street will get paved at the city standards. Yes.
Okay. Will there be a sidewalk included on that, or could there be? Most likely, if you're gonna go to Publix, you're gonna go down Joy Street, right?
Mm-hmm. We didn't plan on putting a sidewalk.
I wonder if there could be discussion somehow with the city.
We could bring it up before we have to look at the requirements for that.
Just to, okay.
I think sometimes when you pay each project has impact fees, so you can look at the impact fees for traffic and say, could you put the sidewalk in and do there's some kind of negotiation with the city. So the sidewalk's in, and there's a net benefit for development and surrounding neighborhoods.
Right now, the crosswalks on the east side of the intersection, coming off of the car wash.
Right.
So they just across the street, but
And then, yes.
Right. Other things that we, life safety, welfare of the kids and people that are in wheelchairs. Overall, I think it's a wonderful project. The landscaping is spectacular. I wonder if we know a landscaper. You didn't hear me.
Yeah.
So, I would say kudos to you all. Very good.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
would there be signage, one way in, one way out? Because I can't believe somebody would try to turn around in there, but they technically
for review,
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we'll work with the city on that, whatever they want for signage. And we want it that way too, is we don't want to have people get down to the end and what do we do? So the residents, once they get a feel for development, they'll understand how it works, but there's always that time. And so we'll work on that, and then the leasing office will work on that too. And so all the residents will know how the traffic pattern goes across. You can have the signage out on the main road, so you'll know.
Very good. Thank you for presenting that. Okay. Next is application PSPR 24-002, final site plan Herbal Restaurant. I have to recuse myself from participating in the event.
And if you would declare the nature of your voting conflict.
Nature of my voting conflict is on professional records for the expansion of Flagler Fish Company.
Thank you. And Mr. Pizzoli has submitted a voting conflict form that's been distributed to each of you.
All set?
Yeah.
Okay, so this item was presented to the Planning and Architectural Review Board.
the gavel too, so he knows he's chairing now. Sorry.
So this was presented to you all on November 14th, 2017, and this board voted to deny it due to the inability to meet the number of required parking spaces for the additional seating that was required. So at the regular meeting of January 22nd of 2018, the City Commission approved ordinance 2018-03 to address on-street improved parking spaces by offsetting the required space for new construction, existing businesses, and or new business in a restricted geographic area of the downtown area. So they're doing the parking requirements now because of a parking pool that was established. So the parking pool was established where business owners may apply to participate via the application process. The business owner committed to participate to the parking pool and submitted the final site plan to renovate the existing 3,651 square feet. And this new addition is going to be a total of 5,720 square feet. The property is located within the community development district and the downtown mixed-use overlay district. And staff recommends that the park board recommend approval of the final site plan for the Flagler Fish Company as it's found in compliance with relevant requirements of the adopted land development code.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments?
I mean, my only concern is, aren't they exhausting the parking pool by doing this?
No, we still have
What will be left?
about 20 spaces. Don't quote me on that, but I'll have the parking book. I didn't bring it with me, but I did look at the total, so we're not exhausted yet.
How many are they taking?
I think 28.
SP1, bottom right-hand side is site parking calculations. So 28 spaces are required to the parking pool. So there is a future plan to have angled parking instituted into the city. And when the city commits to angled parking on 2nd Street, then Flagler Fish Company agrees to participate in that.
You get more out of angle than you do 90?
No, but the overall street will probably have more parking than 90. Flyer Fish Company actually will lose some parking spaces, but the overall street will gain spaces. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but that's just part of the future phasing of downtown Plaza Beach.
Scott, if you look at page 37 of the agenda package, subparagraph B, it actually tells you there what your existing parking space availability and your two exclusion zones are. You have 52 available in 83 in the north and 83 available in the south for the project.
And all these are coming out of the south? I assume Moody's separates those two, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I like what I see. I mean, it's great to clean the place up because I think this hotel is gonna require everyone to clean it up, make them look good. So I'm all for that. If they're not using it up, I guess it's not the end of the world. I just hate to give one business all the parking.
Well, I was incorrect in the rules, right? When I did this research, I couldn't remember, but there's currently 83 spaces.
We have 55 left over.
All right. Okay.
And they're not designated spaces, it's shared.
Right, there is.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Other than that, like I said, the artist rendering and all that, and it needs it. I mean, it's gonna look good. I mean, we got a brand new building coming, and I think everybody needs to clean up a bit around here to complement. So, no other questions?
Joey?
I'm good.
Okay. Lisa?
No questions.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I think they purchased a motorcycle shop 3-4 years ago, easy, right? Yes. Longer than that? 2016. Oh, 8 years. Just to back up, should the person at the podium give him his
Introduce himself.
Joseph Pizzoli, architect, Flagler Beach, 314 Woody Boulevard. Okay, representing Flagler Fish Company. Okay. Just make sure that we do everything we're supposed to do, of course. Okay, anybody in the public wish to make a comment? Step up. Just tell us who you are, please.
Aaron Miller, CRA Director. This is a long time coming. Hallelujah. And I'm all for it. He meets the CRA standards. So thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Do we need any recommendation or?
You would need a motion to recommend approval or to make your recommendation to commission. From what I'm hearing, Justin, it's a recommendation for approval. Were there any requested conditions for approval, Lupita?
No, sir.
Okay. Anybody like to make a motion?
I'll move that we recommend approval of the final site plan.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion made and seconded. Do we do a voice vote? Okay.
Voice vote is fine, I think, with this one.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? No one against? All in favor? Motion passes. Okay. All right, I think, let's see, the last item.
My agenda. I might put it here.
So leave the last item to the chair. Give us a minute here.
At page 2 or
Last item, ordinance 2024-XX. Drew?
We don't have to read the title here, so we don't have to go that, but I'll just give it a brief introduction, then I'll hand it over to Lupita. This is one that I think probably the first conversation that Lupita and I had, and I think it's just regarding this ordinance you've seen a couple of times now as we've worked on this chart, and she has some ideas for how we're handling the lot sizes on the island, so I'll leave that to her. But just to point out a couple of things that Lupita and I discussed. Ms. Trina called me this morning with some comments, nothing bad, but just some thoughts. I passed those along. A couple of other suggested modifications to what you have in front of you. If you look at the chart on page 74 of the agenda package, the second page of the ordinance, the green table, I actually think we can take out the first two operative or functional rows of that, so minimum lot area and density per square foot, if everybody sees those two rows. I think we can strike those. I'll let Lupita explain why that works. If we do that, if we strike both of those, footnote 1, we would attach to item, the fourth row there, minimum lot width at building setback, to make sure that we don't lose that minimum lot width or lot size for duplex units, and that 3,000 square foot will become 2,500 square foot, just making the math work. So brief introduction, but I'll let Lupita explain why all of it works.
Okay, so, this ordinance is to recognize, ground truthing what the existing plat is. Most lots are 50-foot wide lots. There's been some 100-foot lots that have been subdivided, and they didn't really go through as the procedure required, go through the PRD board first. They just made sure it's the property appraiser. So we do have, the 50-foot lots. Most lots that are platted are 50-foot lots, and so even though we have lots of records, after a disaster, homeowners need the coverage to be as prompt and as predictable as possible. And if something is destroyed a certain percentage, you have to bring your new structure up to current code, building code, and your current regulatory code. And so the minimum lot width was, I think, previously 75 feet, and we really don't have that lot width. So this is really just aligning existing development patterns with what is there. Should something happen where we would need to be aligned with our current code. So this is how communities can actually work together to improve preparedness and respond to disasters and emergencies. So reconstruction strategies should take into account ground truthing what we currently have, which is a lot easier to do once we have GIS at our fingertips. And although technically lots of record exists, replacement has to comply with current building and regulatory changes, and that's why I'm making this recommendation. So additionally, most lots in Flagler Beach are 50 feet wide, as I mentioned earlier, and this amendment aligns with the existing pattern of development, and the code does not allow one to expand on a non-conforming use. So should something happen, those non-conforming uses cannot be expanded upon. So it just aligns us with disaster preparedness for the next part. So we recommend making an amendment to preserve the aspect of the existing development and not create non-compatible lots, even though existing non-conforming. I'm happy to answer any questions on that.
So if there was a hurricane and your house on a 50-foot lot was destroyed, the current code would not allow you to rebuild it? Is that what we're saying?
The current code requires it to be a minimum in low density residential of 75 feet. And we don't have 75 feet.
Right.
So there's a carve out for lots of record, but that's still more hoops for somebody who's in disaster recovery to have to jump through. But Lupita also, when she was going through and doing the review, noted and commented to me that there are these 100-foot lots that have been something that would not have been lots of record. They would have a problem.
Right. I live in one of those lots.
You would have a problem.
I have a problem. Well, any comments?
No, I mean, if this is gonna make people, if this is gonna make it easier for people to recover after storms, then it's necessary to do. It's always the. We got enough problems on our hands, but it's like City Hall. and we're
Exactly.
going-
I'm good.
And I assume, are you talking level alteration? When you say that it's gotta meet code? That's
Yeah,
what it
so
falls
it's a
under?
certain percentage, and it varies from code to code. But a certain percentage, and you just have to start all over again, and when you do, you have to, be in compliance with current building and
Yeah.
code.
So it's the guys forward the coastal control line, that's the biggest problem.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, and, you know, I think it's a good idea, it needs to be addressed. So,
Joanne?
I'm good.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Marshall?
Yeah, I have one question that, and I'm not arguing with what you said or the proposal, and I'm in agreement. I find it, when I first look at the chart, and I see that where it says maximum density units per acre, and I know there's a lot of background information that I don't have my head wrapped around right now, but if low density is 5, we're gonna change it from 7 units to 5 units based on this change. And then medium density is 18 units. And high density is 20. Why such a big jump from low density to medium density from 5 to 18? And then from medium to high is only from 18 to 20.
Well, that's a really good question, but that's straight out of your comprehensive plan. Your density requirements are in line with your current comprehensive plan. And so when the goals and your vision for your comprehensive plan were being created, those densities. And sometimes, depending on what goals the city had, for GOD and corridor studies, higher density does support economic vitality in some areas and transportation options in other areas. So that might have been, but I'm not exactly sure. I wasn't here when they were established, but it might, those might have been the goals and the vision for the city.
I didn't mean to push on this back.
Well, I think everything Lupita said actually probably does line up. I don't think I was here for those decisions either, but I've been around long enough to have heard how those decisions have played out. And I would recommend to you, when you're looking at that, instead of looking at the pattern, 5 to 18 and then to 20, I don't think that what you're really keying on isn't the 5 to 18. That doesn't look out of whack to me for the low density to medium density.
Right.
I think what you're really seeing is that jump to high density. You have a very low density for your max density and high density in Blackwood Beach. I think that's where Lupita's point, it lines up to the ideas and attitudes of this community. This is not a high density community, and that's what I think is captured here. So you're seeing 5, 18, 20. It's really the 18 to 20 that's the one, that's the, not weird, but just the unique number, because lots of communities would have a bigger number where you're seeing 20.
Okay, I accept that. Thank you.
Okay. So we just need a motion.
A motion to recommend approval, if you're so inclined to make a motion to recommend approval as amended with those amendments I talked about at the beginning.
So moved.
Okay.
So moved.
So there's a motion to recommend approval as amended.
Recommend approval as amended.
Second.
And I don't think you took public yet.
Oh, no, I did not. Public comment, anyone from the public? Okay, seeing no one from the public, to here, now your
Motion to approve according to the.
He's already made the motion, so he doesn't have to make a motion. The motion's, Michelle's got it.
Any second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Seeing no opposed? Board comments. Any board comments?
no comment?
Lupita, since you are here, sometimes when you receive a packet for the hardboard, in my experience, it's not always done by a design professional, so I hope you would be very stringent on not accepting some of the packets that come before you, because there's certain criteria that you want and need in order to review it.
Make informed decisions, absolutely. So you can share with them how you're going to decisions around that. You can make informed decisions.
Yes.
This is great.
This was very good. We had a civil engineer, but our last meeting prior to the workshop, there was a presentation from Mr. Houston. There was no site data, no information that we really needed. So I just don't give you a fair warning that you might see that either way around here. The city planner report.
Thank you. So, I am completing my third week, here. It's been, drinking from the fire hose, but it's been, very exciting. I'm really happy to be here. I am, bringing forward to the city commission for their approval, a tool that is called Gridix, and I'd like to be able to share it just so that, that the board can be aware. It's a spatial tool, and so it analyzes, and I wish that Karen, the Terry director, was here, it analyzes development scenarios at a parcel level or at an entire streetscape level. So we're taking our current parcel data and our current building footprint, so whether it's vacant or existing, we'll have that data on this platform. And when citizens come in, we spend a lot of time answering questions about a 5-yard setback on the pool. So people can come in and just type in their address from anywhere. They don't even have to come in, and whatever they can build on the property will come out as a report. And so it also analyzes potential scenarios for development. So we'll be able to understand the multiplier effect of this for economic development, what the redevelopment potential might be, and take the building footprint into consideration. So not only is it great for citizens just wanting to, build a pool or a shed or a single family home altogether. It will help the staff because it will reduce customer service time, and it will empower citizens to have a little bit more knowledge about their own site. And then at a community level, we'll be able to visualize the status of pending, approved, and under construction development sites. So you can see it accumulative as well. It's a very exciting tool, and I'm really happy that we can use it. There's a lot of cities that have used it for all kinds of robust complexities that are now facing all of development. Sea level rising is one example, and interior flooding as another. So there's additional tools that we don't have now, but that we could have later if we needed them. And I'm not seeking approval. This is just something that I want to share with this board that we'll have access to when we do training. If you'd like to come and join us for training, we'd be delighted to have you. It's going before the city commission. I'm not sure if the next regular meeting or the meeting after that, and it'll be about 4 months. We can take into consideration. It'll put our current code over each parcel. So if there's a rub somewhere, immediately we'll know what that rub is, if there's a barrier. And if there's an incentive that this board would like to be able to see for good projects and good redevelopment, we'll have some data that we can make informed decisions on that will be data driven, because we'll have it at our fingertips. So I'm excited to share it. I'm excited to have it. I think it's going to be a great tool for the staff, the community, for developers. And I've been answering questions about it, and maybe send a link for a demonstration.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah.
If and when you have training, I would love to know when that is. I was explaining this to my staff yesterday, and we often call zoning departments, and unfortunately, sometimes we get the wrong information for their setback or something, and just recently in Ormond, I was given the wrong information, and staff should have asked for the table so they could verify it themselves. But they didn't, but they had the name of the person that gave us the information, and I double made sure they asked twice, and unfortunately it was incorrect. But this will keep that from happening.
Fine. And, you know, Larry's worked long and hard on the code, and it's cumbersome when you're one person trying to manage everything. It's just, a tool is what he needed, because you could visualize it immediately. Is this really what you want? While you're discussing a code change, you could see the impacts, if there are any, because the report will give you the impacts. So with this, I know that there's a group that's working on the downtown playbook. So those attributes could be included as part of the Grydics overlay. You have really wonderful design standards that I'd like to see implemented. Those design standards can also be included, so that people know that we do have those performance standards for design, and that is good codes make for good communities. And so and the CRA, whatever goals that they might have, can also be overlaid into this. And if the board ever wants to consider an overlay district of some sort, this would be the way to do it, to visualize and be able to see what the economic development potential would be, what the multiplier dollar might be. So I'm hoping to reach out to our GIS Philip or Taylor, I'm not sure which, about the last name, first name afterwards, but we'll be having to work with the county. And I'd like to create a charter for some roles, and so keep the board abreast of the change and how we implement new tools. That's all I have. Thank you.
When do you expect this to roll out?
As soon as the city commission approves it,
Okay.
we can get it, and then Max, the vice president of Grydics, said in about 4 months we can have it zipped up,
Okay.
which would be great. And that's a compressed time for land development.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I'm looking forward to that. It'd be very helpful. Now, once all the data is in there, will it actually do a three-dimensional? Wow. Wow, we're going high tech here.
I know. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I would think that would answer a lot of questions if somebody that owns a piece of property and wants to know what they can and cannot build and where on that piece of property. And when they see it there, it's sort of better than build it.
Yes, you'll get a full report.
And it'll be nice to eliminate problems such as putting a pool in the front yard that's not allowed.
Right.
And the cost of removing that and everything else.
Before it started.
Yeah, exactly, before it becomes a problem.
Right.
Well, thank you very much, Nikita. You've been here 3 weeks?
It's time to get you a real name tag.
Is there no other comments?
Real quickly, if just so that you're all aware, I think Building Height will be coming back to you next month. So if you're able to be here, please be here for that. I'd like to have all of you here. And then Durant Bay Gated Gardens is getting close probably to their formal submission for annexation, development agreements and those kind of things. So stay tuned on that. That's probably the tail end of this year. It's probably the best thing to do too. So just kind of keep your schedules clear for this meeting. Thank you.
Okay, I'll move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice 4th of July. Be safe.
So, Michelle, is this your first